All right, test. Hey, everybody. Glad to be back. And I want to wish everybody, hope everybody's having a great day today. Check these headphones. All right. All right. So I hope everybody's having a great day. Last night, I was doing my CTF or Symfonos. It was getting a little late, and we had a little couple of issues and stuff. So I've been working on it a little bit more today, and I think I found the issue, and I was able to get through the box. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue, and we're going to pick up where we left off. So let's get some music going here, and let's share our screen. Got to turn that down just a little bit. Don't want it too loud. All right, so we got a little bit of background music. Let's turn up our screen share. We'll do the entire screen. Let's go back over here to our Kali that we were using yesterday. All right, so pretty much where we left off yesterday, we'll go to our write-up. We're going to get right into it. So, in the description, I also just wanted to mention to everybody, I did put my Discord link. So if anybody wants to join the Discord, it's right there, freely available. So definitely come out, hang out, join the fun, and hope to meet some new people. So, all right. So if we look here, yesterday we were doing our SMTP. Okay. So what we're going to do here is let's open up our prompt, and we'll actually start completely fresh. All right. We're going to open up a new tab. We're going to call this one SMTP, and then let's open up another one, and we'll have our netcat listener. My mouse is acting up too, which is weird. All right, so we're going to right click. We're going to call this netcat. So we're going to get this already staged. Okay, so let's type in netcat, and we're going to be using the -NLVP flag and on port 1234. Okay, so we'll get to that in just a second. And this one we're going to call SMTP. And those that actually, if you were catching me late and you didn't get a catch to CTF yesterday, it's actually posted up. It's called Test, and it's the CTF Phonos walkthrough. So if you want to watch through that and stuff so you can catch up to where we're at, that's part one. This will be part two. All right. So here we're going to say SMTP. Okay, so what we're going to do here, come back to our walkthrough. As you see here, what we're trying to do is we're going to send through SMTP is a simple mail transfer protocol. So we're going to send an email, but we're going to do it manually. So what we're going to do here is we're going to connect through Telnet on the Symfonos local box that we are target, and we're going to be on port 25, which is SMTP. We're going to copy that, come back over here, and we're going to paste it. Okay, now as you see, it says it's looking for some characters right here, escape characters, right? This caret. So we're going to come back over here, and we're going to create a mail. And I'm saying it's Jack at Symfonos local, so it thinks that it's coming from a local email on the server. So we're going to go copy. Paste that in. Okay, and you see we get a code that comes back as it's a server code 250 of OK. Now we come back over here. The next part we're going to do is we're going to create a receipt. Okay, this is the Helios user, and that's the account that we're trying to escalate privileges on. That's what we were doing yesterday, trying to get a foothold. So come back up here. We're going to hit right click. We're going to paste our selection. Okay, get an OK again. That's good. Now we're going to put some data in. right? So we got to create a data field. So this would be like your text or whatever that you're putting in the email. So we're going to put in the data field. Right click, paste it in. Okay, now it's waiting for the data. Now it says it's going to end with these characters. So what we're going to do here is, this is where we're going to put an exploit in. We're going to manipulate the PHP here. So we're going to use this, execute this PHP code right here. My mouse will work correctly. Okay. I'm going to paste this in. Okay, now it looks like it's just sitting there holding, right? Now the Netcat listener is going to be listening, because, and I'll show you here in just a second what we're going to do before we execute it. Okay, if you notice here, this period is how we're going to execute the command, okay? So if we come back over here, pull it down just a little bit. As you see, everything was executed correctly, so we can navigate back to our browser to see if we can execute the commands. So we got our Netcat listener that we've already opened, so we got that set up, and now it's going to be looking for this reverse shell. And that's what we're trying to do, is get a shell on the box. So if we scroll down here, we want to get this address. So if you notice, this is our target, 134. It's going through the WP content plugins. We're exploiting this Mel Masto, okay? Incorporating campaign. And if you see, this is the PHP that we're going to do. The variable Mel Helios. Here's our Netcat listener that we're putting on. And we're telling it to call back here to our Kali box at 132 on port 1234. Okay? So we're going to copy this. We'll get ready to pop this in our browser. What I noticed yesterday while I was sitting there talking, it timed out. And that's why we lost our shell. Okay, so we're going to copy. Got to come back up here. Now here, we're going to hit our period. Okay? Okay, as you see, it's queued. Now we come into our browser. And now we're going to post that address. Hit enter. Now it looks like, as you see here, nothing's going on, right? If we come up to our Netcat listener, actually, did I open up my Netcat? I don't even think I ran the Netcat yet, did I? No, we didn't. That's why that did that. Okay, let's open up our listener. We're going to close this out. And we're going to come back up here. And we're going to paste the code in again. Now hit enter. Now see, it looks like it's hanging, right? But if we come back over here to our Netcat listener, it's showing that we're connected, okay? So it's waiting for a response. Here, we're going to spawn our shell. So if we come here, it gets back over on the text. There we go. As you see right here, we're going to spawn a shell with a Python one-liner. So we're going to do this bin bash shell. It's a reverse shell. We're going to copy. We're going to paste this in. Now, once you see, we're going to get a connection. Okay, so now we've got the campaign here. Now, scrolling back through our write-up, okay, let's scroll down. Okay, now what we were trying to do here yesterday, get back up where we need to be. Okay, we got our shell. Now, we're looking for permissions, okay? So if you look here, on this plugins, we were looking to see what type of permissions we got. The one that sticks out is this op status check, okay? I'm not going to do that right here and stuff. We covered this yesterday. So now if we come back down, give you some resources. We'll cover all this at the end of the video. I just want to get so you guys can see where we were yesterday. Okay. So if you notice here, we're going to do the cd opt, okay? We're going to go into that directory. And what we're trying to do is we want to be able to get this file, okay? So we're going to go cd opt. Copy. I'm trying not to lose my shell. That's why I'm kind of going fast here. All right. So we go cd opt. Now, if you notice, we're in the opt directory, okay? So now, if we go down here, we're going to go ls, and we're going to see the status check, okay? Right here's the status check. So we'll go lsal. My mouse will act rec. Okay, see right here, status check. It's root. That's what we're trying to do. We're going to see if we can leverage this to our advantage. If you notice here, this elf bit is set. We're going through the binary. See, as we know, binary cannot be readable directly. So what we need to do here is we're going to set up a server, okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to create this Python server right here on port 8005 so we can get this file direct back to us. Let's grab this. Okay, we created a Python server. Now the thing is, it's actually listening to us, right? Actually, I think I already got the server already running. I never turned it off. Okay. So the thing is, once we be able to get to our target address here, it's going to say that it was awaiting for the status check, okay? So what we're going to do is we want to extract the binary. And when we came down here in our Kali, we can go wget. We're going to see if we can get the status check, but it looks like that server's still running. All right, so come up here, open a new tab. We're going to paste the selection here. Let's see if we get it. As you see, it downloads us the status check, so we've already got it back. So we still had that server running, okay? And it came through on our Python server. So now we scroll down. We're going to use strings, okay? And what the strings is going to do is see if what permissions and what files that we might have access to, okay? So we're going to use the string status check. Back over. Okay, now the ones that we're going to look for here that's important to us on these strings. Now, I'll just show you in the write-up. Okay, let's go back down. I'm going to show you right here. These are the ones that stick out. Okay, see, we found system and a curl command, which is very good. So it's a system command, and we can use this curl command. So we can use this to our advantage. The way to take advantage of all this is by creating a file name the same as the command on the curl line in the directory, the temp with the content, with our bin sh, and modifying the environment variable path. In this way, which is achieved to execute the binary status check with root privileges. But instead, we're going to look for the genuine command, curl. It will first look for it in the path variable that we declare, and what it is, temp. Here's the bin show, run as root. let's go back to our reverse shell. Okay. What we're going to do here, this one, come back here. We might have to get a shell again. Let's look here. Okay, so this Helios Symphonos, okay? And we were running a server, so what we need to do is we're going to connect to this one more time, okay? Because we need to get back to this user. So just to show you, this is what I screwed up yesterday. Okay, so right here, as you see, we're going to go in, see, this Helios WP content. As you notice, we're going to be the Helios user, okay? Now we should be, let's see if we're in the temp folder. Okay, yeah, we're in the opt folder. Let's see, I want to get to CD temp. Okay, as you now see, we're back in the temp folder. We come back here. We want to echo right now, okay? So we're going to echo that shell and we're going to curl it. My mouse is being very aggravating, jumping all around. Okay, as you see, echo bin bash curl, right? Now we're going to come back just to show you what we're going to do next. Bring it down. Okay, now this is where we're going to escalate privileges. We're going, the chmod 777 command is, it gives us, it sets our permission. So we're going to change the moderator positions to 777, which is the God row, which will give us full permission over this file, or sorry, this directory, okay? And I'll break this down once we get finished. We'll go through some of the resources I shared. Let's paste this. Okay, chmod curl, that's completed. Come back up here. So let's see where we're at right there. Okay, so now we want to echo the path. Now what this is going to do is we're going to rename a path and we're going to direct it to the path that we want it to go. So you'll see here in just a second what it's going to do. Okay, so we echo that path. Okay, as you now notice, see, this sbin, and it's changed the path for us, okay? Now what we're going to do, we're going to come back up here. And now we're going to export that path that we created in this temp folder. Okay. Now, if we did everything correctly, we're almost to the end, where we're about to root this box. Let me scroll up. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to go back into that opt folder, okay? We're going to send a command to the status check. Now let's see if we got access to it. All works correctly. Bingo. Now if you noticed, we were Helios Symphonos, but now notice our prompt changed to this pound sign. Now what we can do here is we can type in who am I, Okay. If you now notice, we just escalated privileges. We're not Helios user no more. We are root. See, we are root. That's exactly what we needed to do. Now, if we type in ls-la, it gives us directories. Okay. So now we can see here. Now, the thing is, we want to get to that root directory since we have perms now, right? So if we go cd/root, now let's do an ls and let's look at the files in that root. Okay, you now notice here, we've got ls and proof.txt. Let's do it a different way, ls-la. Now, it gives us the file structure, right? Here's the proof.txt. That's the file that we're after, okay? So what we need to do is to be able to view that file, we're going to cat it. So we go cat, we're going to go proof.txt. And right here, my friends, at this point, we're root. We have full access over this box. Let's hit enter. And if you just notice, you just completed your CTF on Symfonos. I told you we were almost done last night. We just had some technical issues that was going on, which is more me. I was putting in wrong commands and it was getting late. So no excuses, no excuses. So if you now notice, congrats on rooting Symfonos. And as you see here, you get this little Axie art work that they did of a Pegasus, which we were reading before when we were reading about Symfonos. And it tells you about the creator, which was Zeotech. So we thank Zeotech, or Zeotech, however you pronounce it, for creating this CTF for us. So congratulations to anybody that's actually stuck through on this with us. You just popped your first box. So congratulations. And that's what I write here in my PDF for my students, for anybody else that wants to do the walkthrough. But let's go through it just to show you. See, as you saw, your prompt is now turned to a pound. We can type in ID. And our ID, we're going to see the permissions that we have, which is the UIDs, okay? We can now navigate to the root directory, right? So if you see here, we did the LSAL, but I need to actually change that. But woohoo, we have escalated privileges to root. Congrats. So in LSAL, by using LSAL command, we can now see all the files in the root directory. The one we are interested in is the proof.txt. So right here, we added it, just like I just showed you here. And this is showing that we completed the box. See, so I put, well, congratulations, young Padawan, you did it. Staying persistent and that never quit attitude will take you far on your journeys. Thank you for engaging and learning with me. If you like this CTF write-up and walkthrough and found it to be useful, then please pay it forward and share with your friends. Show them they too can learn ethical hacking and master these 1337 elite Jedi powers. Happy hacking and enjoy. As always, stay safe, keep grinding, and stay motivated. Lab every day and oorah. Main thing, have fun, smile, and enjoy the journey. Hack the planet. So again, I just wanted to thank everybody. And I'm sorry that I left anybody hanging last night. I just wanted to make part 2. Said it was going to be really short and sweet. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to open up some questions and answers. And again, I don't really see anybody in the chat. So if anybody does pop in, I do want to go over a little overview of what we were learning, okay? So we're going to go through some of these resources. I'm going to turn that music down just a little bit more in my ears. Yeah, I felt very disappointed last night that I didn't actually get to complete the box. But again, it was my note-taking. But you get to see that we're all not perfect. Things don't always work the first time. It would be nice if this mouse would honestly act correct. Okay, so our overview, let's go through some of the resources that I shared in this CTF and in this PTF and the PDF write-up, because I want to kind of go a little bit deeper dive and explain a lot of what we were doing. Okay. So again, I don't want to make this super long, but I'm trying to think where we could actually pick up from. I'm thinking the UID would actually be good information. So let's, my mouse, respond. I think my batteries are getting low. Okay, here's where we did the WordPress. I want to kind of go into some private resources. I actually put a couple more pictures in here too. This full disclosure, as you see right here, we were doing a local file inclusion. So that's what we were taking advantage of as our vulnerability. And it's called an LFI. And if you look here in search exploit, this is the article of Masta. That was the plugin that was in WordPress. So this is what we were going to leverage against. In this WordPress, there was a local file inclusion. So if you now notice, why is it doing this to me? It's skipping all over the place.
If you're frightened of dying, and then
Go
you'll
look a little more.
you see devils tearing your life away. But if you've made your peace,
Okay.
then the devils are really angels. Free.
As you see right here, it's telling us. This thing is driving me nuts. Yeah, it's talking about the target application. The vulnerability occurs due to the use and the support without proper validation. Okay. So if we look through, it's telling us that we can use right here at the very end. The server WP content plugins, the Mailmaster, the campaign that we accessed is showing there's an Etsy password. That's what we're taking advantage of. So if you notice when we come down here, as we saw here, there was a Helios user, okay? That was on to line 3. So what we're going to take advantage of is, this is where we can use this entry point on being able to upload a shell to, okay? So if we come back down through here, let's show you. Right here. We changed, and this plugin, see, it was Etsy password, and we changed it to be this variable Mel Helios. This is how we were able to create that exploit of leveraging SMTP to our advantage and manually pushing through an email, okay? Where we could actually attach our PHP malicious script. So if you look through here, and actually, let's try. Now let's kind of go over so you guys will get a better understanding here. Okay. So the simple mail transfer protocol. We're going to use this link. My mouse would quit being stupid. Okay. Open up a new tab. Type this in here. Well, let's read this article about SMTP. Okay, the simple mail transfer protocol. Now again, this was updated. Oh, okay, this is actually recent. So June 26th of 2024. So this is very useful. The simple mail transfer mechanism, SMTP, is a mechanism for exchanging email messages between servers. It is an essential component of the email communication process that operates at the application layer, the TCP/IP protocol stack. You'll learn this when we get into the whole networking course. We don't care about this. Come on, get rid of that. All right. SMTP is a protocol for transmitting and receiving email messages. In this article, we are going to discuss every point about SMTP. Again, you would do this on your own reading and learning. I just felt it's practical to go with the CTF. That's why I want to cover it. Okay, so what is the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol? SMTP is an application layer protocol. The client who wants to send the mail opens a TCP connection to the SMTP server, and then they're going to send the mail across the connection. The SMTP server is always on listening mode, okay? Same thing like with our Netcat listener. It was in listening mode. As soon as it listens for a TCP connection from any client, the SMT process initiates a connection through port 25, which we saw in our Nmap scan. After successfully establishing a TCP connection, the client process sends the mail instantly. Okay, so they're showing there's a computer going through a server and it sends it off to another computer. So therefore you see the mail coming in and out. We don't care about the picture. Where was that picture at? Okay. Let's scroll down past the picture. Oh. Okay, SMTP protocol. The SMT model, 2 steps. It can be end-to-end method or store and forward method. The end-to-end model is used to communicate between different organizations, okay? Whereas the store and forward method is used within an organization, right? So if you got internal emails that's sent within your intranet, we'll just say, it's not going out on the internet, it's going through, say, local email. So most businesses, they communicate through internal emails. Now we can also have the end-to-end method, which could be external coming internal, okay? So if we look here, an SMTP client who wants to send a mail will contact the destination host SMTP directly to send the mail to the destination. The SMTP server will keep the mail to itself until it is successfully copied to the receiver's SMTP. That's gonna give me the, there we go. The client SMTP is the one that initiates the session. So let us call in the client SMTP, and the server SMTP is the one that responds to the session request. So let us call it receiver SMTP. The client SMTP will start the session and the receiver SMTP will respond to the request. Here's some more models. In the SMTP model, the user deals with the user agent, a UA. Okay? For example, Microsoft Outlook, Netscape, Mozilla, etc. To exchange the mail using TCP, MTA is used. The user sending the mail doesn't have to deal with MTA as it is responsible of the system admin to set up a local MTA. The MTA maintains a small queue of mail so that it is scheduled to repeat delivery of mail in case the receiver is not available. The MTA delivers the mail to the mailboxes and the information can later be downloaded by the user agents. Now see components. So we're already learning about the MSA, the MTA. Components of SMTP. The Mail User Agent, the MUA, is a computer application that helps you in sending and retrieving mail. It is responsible for creating email messages for transfer to the Mail Transfer Agent, right, the MTA. The Mail Submission Agent is a computer program that receives mail from a mail user agent and interacts with the mail transfer agent, the MTA, for the transfer of the mail transfer agent. Throw that again. Man, this mouse, why is it acting that way? Yeah, I'm going to look at something real quick here. See if, I'm going to see if I can fix this maybe on my end here. This should not be doing all that. Let's look at hardware. I like to look at my mouse. I apologize for this. If it acts any better now. This might respond a little bit better. We'll see. All right, let's look here. Where are we at? Now let's make this big. I don't have to keep dealing with all this here. Okay. Okay, so the mail delivery okay, we're at the mail transfer agent. It's a software that has the work to transfer email from one system to another with the help of SMTP, okay, which is the protocol we're using. The mail delivery agent, the MDA, is a mail delivery agent or local delivery agent is basically a system that helps in the delivery of mail to the local system. So how does SMTP work? Communication between the sender and the receiver. The sender's user agent prepares the message and sends it to the MTA. The MTA's responsibility is to transfer the mail across the network to the receiver's MTA. To send mail, a system must have a client MTA, and to receive mail, a system must have a server MTA. So sending emails. Actually, I think that's enough about SMTA. Let's for SMTP. But I want to show you. I got another article. So this is just giving you basics, and I want to show you in the article. Okay, so we talk about the SMTP protocol. Let's go into LFI. I think we'll find this a little bit more actually what we're needing to be able to understand a little bit more about the exploitation that we're using. I think everybody kind of gets the general gist of how a mail server works, right? You got a receiver, you got a sender. The thing is, you have to have the server in between, somewhere like a router that's going to forward these emails to their destination, okay? So as you see, there's different agents that are in place. So you got your MTA, you got your MSA. So what we're going to do here is let's look here at the local file inclusion so you can get a better understanding of what this is. Why is that? I don't want to resize that. Mouse is acting stupid again. Now copy this. Let's look in our browser. We can close this port now. We don't need that anymore. Okay, let's see if this article is still up. Okay, here we go. What is local file inclusion? I don't know how loud that music is. I don't know if it's aggravating anybody or getting irritating. Okay, hopefully it's low enough again. Okay, so what is local file inclusion? An attacker can use local file inclusion, LFI, to trick the web application into exposing or running files on the web server. An LFI attack may lead to information disclosure, remote execution, which that's what we did, remote execution, or even cross-site scripting. And we'll be able to go more into detail on other CTFs and other deep dives that will go down. Typically, LFI occurs when an application uses the path to a file, right? It is directing a file to that Etsy password, a file as input. And that's what we need is something to be able to put our shell on so we can now provide input, right? So we can actually be able to have communications back and forth with our target. If the application treats this as input as trusted, a local file may be used in the include statement. Local file inclusion is very similar to remote file inclusion, which is called RFI. However, an attacker using LFI may only include local files, not remote files, like in the case of RFI. Again, that would be if we had a remote access. So therefore, we needed to get a foothold. That's why we used our reverse shell. The following example is a PHP code that is vulnerable to LFI. So if we look at this, remember it was PHP that we were using before on the back end because WordPress has a database. That's what we were leveraging, okay? If you see this file get, it's going to get the file. And then you can include a directory that can access the file. See? Unsafely, see? Unsafely include the file. Example, file name PHP. If you see here, in the above example, an attacker could make the following request. It tricks the application into executing a PHP script just like we did, such as a web shell that the attacker managed to upload to the web server. If you see here, they got example.com, and then they're showing the file that's going to use, but it's going to upload, and then they wrote a malicious PHP script, right? In this example, the file uploaded by the attacker will be included and executed by the user that runs the web application. That would allow an attacker to run any server-side malicious code they want, just as we were able to do. This is a worst-case scenario. An attacker does not always have the ability to upload a malicious file to the application because usually there's WAFs in place or they have other security mechanisms in place. A WAF is called a Web Application Firewall. Therefore, it would be able to detect and be able to be triggered for situations like what we were just doing. So I'm trying to show people on a real world scenario. This attack still could be done, but there would be more evasion, and that's why we need to do recon. If there was a WAF in place, we would have to figure how could we evade or what to say, not confiscate, but be able to. My brain's not even working right now. To be able to take that code and obfuscate that code to where we can still trick a WAF to think. Let's say it's an extension. Let's say it don't let PHP run on the background. Well, what if we changed it to where it'll let you upload pictures, right? So what if we did a double file extension? So we still write .php and then you go .jpeg. It depends on the way a WAP or their security mechanisms are set up. It might be looking for just keywords. Well, if it's looking for the extension of PHP, it's looking at the end. Well, if we change it to JPEG, it's like, oh, JPEG, that's allowed. It's going to let it be uploaded. However, once we get it uploaded, we just take the JPEG extension off at the end, and now we still have our PHP script. So now we can access it through our shell. So there are methods that we can use. And hopefully I might get a couple of CTS where we might be able to show you this proof of concept that I'm speaking of. Okay. So it says this is a worst case scenario. An attacker does not always have the ability to upload a malicious file to the application. Even if they did, there is no guarantee that the application will save the file on the same server where the LFI vulnerability exists. Even then, the attacker would still need to know the disk path in the upload file. And that's why we do enumeration, while we were doing our recon. So we know which directory in the file system that we're located. And if you notice, we had access to the temp folder. So what we did is we put our malicious payload in our server. Remember our Python server? We created an temp file. And you're right, we didn't know the path. That's why we created a new path. We gave it a new path to follow and we exported it out. So we know where the path is. We know where we stuck our payload. So now we can be able to access it again. And by doing that, that's how we got our privilege escalation to be able to get to root. So hopefully this is making somewhat sense. I'm trying to give you the general concept of what's going on, but how we went about on our exploit on our target. And then if we understand how we did it, we can do reverse engineering and go backwards. So now we can better understand how could we have secured, let's say this was our application, right? And somebody was able to attack it. Well, you're a pen tester. You just told the developers on how you were able to attack it. You do understand. In your report, you also need to tell them how to fix it. Okay? Now, in something like this, they should be able to figure out. However, they'll thank you for, oh, yeah, we're unaware. But that's our job is to be able to explain to them, right, as a developer and engineer, on how they could better secure this attack so it would not happen again. That is your primary job and role. If we come back down here, let's read some more here. I hope you guys are finding this useful. I find this actually kind of exciting. It's always fun to learn, fun to learn new different things. And again, these still could work in the wild. Again, there's human error. People misconfigure things all the time. Now, to say, is this super common LFI attacks? Yes, they are common. And again, it's usually poor coding or poor engineering. Sometimes people, like I said, we get lackadaisical. Sometimes, we make mistakes, human error. And that's what we're focusing on here. Go into directory traversal. Even without the ability to upload and execute code, a local file inclusion vulnerability can be dangerous. An attacker can still perform a directory traversal path traversal attack using LFI vulnerability as follows. If you see example.com, which is the website, you put the file. Now notice, you're seeing this file structure that they're doing. Now, if you see here, Etsy password, that's exactly what we took advantage of. So this Etsy password. In the above example, an attacker can get the contents of the Etsy password file that contains a list of users on the server, which remember, we found Helios. So that's, again, exactly what we just did. Similarly, an attacker can leverage the directory traversal vulnerability to access log files. For example, Apache access logs. Remember, we were running an Apache server, the source code, and other sensitive information. This information may then be used to advance an attack. And that's exactly what we did. Through SMTP, we leveraged the LFI. And then once we were able to get the permissions, we were able to actually see that some of the permissions that were set gave us curl. And through that curl command, we were able not only just get our shell, that's how we were able to escalate our privileges that we did right there, right at the very end. What we do here, finding and preventing local file exclusion. So this is telling people how they can find it, and then again, how they can prevent this. Fortunately, it's easy to test if your website or web application is vulnerable to LFI and other vulnerabilities by running an automated web scam using, this is a self-promotion, but this Ancutix vulnerability scanner, which includes a specialized LFI scanner module. Now again, most, enterprises or organizations have these tools plus multiple other tools that will pop up in these lags and these scanners that they can use. So therefore, they want to patch this stuff. So again, this don't always work, but it'll show if they're vulnerable. In this module, request a demo and find out more about running LFI. They frequently ask questions. How common is LFI? Let's look here. Did they give us any information here? If we click on it, let's see. All right, let's look at LFI. It says, how common is LFI? Luckily, LFI is not a very common vulnerability, correct? Because it's hardened. However, don't ever, just because it's not common, it is still in the wild if things are misconfigured. According to the latest AnQTech's Web Application Vulnerability Report, it is presented an average in 1% of web applications. But notice we were doing a CTF. So therefore, it was vulnerable on purpose. Now, if we notice how dangerous is an LFI, as we saw before, LFI can be dangerous, especially if combined with other vulnerabilities like we did, or when we leveraged other vulnerabilities. For example, if the attacker is able to upload a malicious file to the server, even if the attacker cannot upload files, they can use LFI vulnerability together with a directory traversal vulnerability, as we did, to access sensitive information. Well, let's say on a blue team, and blue team would be, so when you think of ethical hacking or pen testing, we like to call that red teaming. Okay, red teaming is a very broad term. Okay, so there's different types of red teaming, but we're just saying this penetration test, we're red teaming. Okay, and you also got blue team. Blue team we like to call security, right? The SOC, the Security Operations Center, the security analyst. You got all sort, again, what to say, the security side of things, okay? Because there's a lot of different titles and roles in that category. It's very broad. So in a blue team, this is what we would want to look, see how to detect. The most efficient way to detect LFI is by using an automated vulnerability scanner. And there are free open source ones out there that we might just Google and just look here in just a minute. You can, of course, detect such vulnerabilities through a manual penetration testing, but it takes a lot more time and resources, and it can also get very pricey. So like what we were doing, pen testing. Yes, you could do it that way too, which most companies do because they get audited. So what we'll do here, we'll do an automated vulnerability scanner. So let's just copy that. Why won't it let me copy? Just type it in. All right, let's type it in. Automated vulnerability scanner. Let's wait for Google, see what it comes up with. Okay, there's AnQTech's Manage Engine. Let's see if we get some open source. Open source, that'll actually be free. I can think of a few off the top of my head, but I want to see what comes up in the list. I was going to say there is a WASP, which is, we'll type that in just a minute, but right here, so we got Psycho, security tools in one place. Let's look at Zap, okay? I'm just going to show you guys this. I think you might find it interesting. And they also got a GitHub repository. So if we look at Zap, it's a free tool. I think it's in Kali, or let me see if it is in Kali. Do we have to download it? I don't think I got it installed on this machine. Here, let me put this. Because I think I had it. I might have had it installed on my last repo. Actually, no, right here. See, Zap. It's already pre-installed. So just to kind of show you what Zap looks like. It's an attack proxy, the world's most widely used web app scanner, free and open source, actively maintained by a dedicated international team of volunteers, a GitHub Top 1000 project. I want to see the Zap scanner. And my tallies, I might need to refresh it. It's responding really slow. Okay, here comes Zap. I've been having this run since last night, so it probably needs to be rebooted. So it's loading Zap tips and tricks. And then it's going to start Zap. Again, it's a web application scan. If you see here, large number of fuzzing files. There's a fuzz database that we can look at. Fuzzing is like, it's a way that we could sit here and look through directories, okay? So like when we were using derb, we can also use wfuzz, which is also going to be able to scan and look through directories. I was looking through some extensions, specialized scripting. I do believe once I reboot my Kali and all that, it'll run a little bit more smoother and quicker. I just wanted to definitely show you this tool. All right. Do you want to persist the Zap session? Yes, I want to persist Zap session with name based on the current timestamp. Yes, I want to persist the session, but I want to specify the name and location. No, I do not want to persist the session at the moment in time. And again, we don't need that right now. So we'll put no. We're going to put start because we don't really care about this moment in time. So there's the quick start, right? And then you have your response. And then these are tools that we can use here, right? So this is the entitled session. But here, these are the add-ons. See, installed. And here's a marketplace. We don't really need that right now. So we can close that out. Okay. So what we can do here is if you look at tools, if my mouse works correctly and stops being stupid. If you see here, so this is why it's responding so slow. The resources are being eaten up really bad. See, XAMPP is an easy to use integrated penetration testing tool for finding vulnerabilities in web applications. If you're new to XAMPP, then it's the best place to start with one of the options below. Okay, or you can look here. Let's see if we can pull this tab down. It'll respond. Yeah, this isn't working the way I want. It's running very, very slow. There should not be these resources for you. Should it make big? It'll respond. All right. Let's see if we can do an automated scan, manual explorer, support, learn more, right? So if we see here, we can learn some more right here. So let's do the automated scan. The automated scan. This screen allows you to launch an automated scan against applications. Just enter this URL below and press attack. Please be aware that you should only attack applications that you have been specified or specifically been given permission to test. Okay. So I would type in something, but I don't have a web server. Again, what we could actually do later on, and probably in some of my classes, what I think I'll do, we'll set up a local server. I'm thinking maybe like a WordPress site or something. And then we can run this attack against our WordPress, okay? Or we can create a web application and then we can actually try to attack it. I don't know any sites off the top of my head that could be used Let's see. Oh, you know what? Yes. Yeah. Okay, just to give you a couple other ideas and stuff, I just want to share with you guys. These are some other CTFs that we can create, and they're images that are actually already pre-built, and they're for testing. And this is where we could use Zap, but I don't have it set up right now. But it's called the Damn Vulnerable Web Application. Wasn't that coming up? Sponsored. No, that's what it's called. Yeah, right here. You see here? Try Hack Me has it as well that you could do. But the thing is, on Try Hack Me, you have to have internet access. Okay. Now the thing is, I'm trying to make courses where people could do this on their local machine. Okay. So everything that we're going to be attacking, we'll eventually go to Hack the Box and Try Hack Me. But I'm trying to do things locally. So therefore, let's say you're sitting at home. And here, I live in Florida, so sometimes we get bad weather. And let's say during a hurricane or something, the internet goes down. Well, what if I wanted to practice doing some CTFs or something to pass the time, right? Even though the power went down or my internet's down, I still got laptop battery. So I could still do things offline. So everything don't always have to be online. So I'm trying to show people how we could set up our labs and do it locally. So what you could do here is, yes, Try Hack Me has it, but if you look here, Bone Hub, they have a web application that we can use as well. And there's also a GitHub repository. Let's see if we scroll up, then I see GitHub. Yeah. So there's a, so we could go, let's see, we'll just click here. We'll open that up from Bone Hub, and then I want to show you on GitHub. And then after I show you this, I'm going to show everybody my content is going to be getting ready to launch. I'm hopefully looking at the second week of August for my first class. And I want to show you guys static pages and through Git.io, what we will be able to actually do. That'll be my first class. This is why I was trying to show you all how you could create your own website. Again, it's a static website, so it'll be images, right? There'll be images and text, and then you can put links. You're not going to be able to host like videos, but you'll be able to put links and stuff. And I'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, so if you see down vulnerable web application, this is an older one. This is back at this is 2011. If we look at the GitHub, it should be more current. And then there's one called Juice Shop and as well. And I'll step you guys through some of these. But here's the ISO image, which is the image that we would do. So it'd be just like a virtual machine. You would have hosted up. Now you can put your Kali, put it on the same network, and you'll be able to attack this web application. And you'll be able to use Zap. The damn vulnerable web application is a PHP MySQL web application that is damn vulnerable. Its main goals are to aid for security professionals to test their skills and tools in a legal environment. So I'm showing you everything that we're doing here is ethical. We're not going after websites that we do not have permission, nor do we own. That is completely illegal. So that's why we're doing this in a lab environment. It's all controlled, and everything we want to do is legal, which helps the web developers better understand the process of securing web applications and aid teachers and students to teach and learn web application security in a classroom environment. And if we come over here to the GitHub, Git are repositories. So the thing is, we can actually install it and download it from here. And you can use it in multiple different ways. You can use it in a Docker container. Let's see how they've got, how they're hosting it, how people can do it. See, it shows the automated installation. So if you see here, it gives you all the documents and everything up here. Automated installation. No, this is not an official damn vulnerable web application script. It was written by I am Karon. A lot of work went into creating the script, and then it was created. It did not do anything malicious. However, it is recommended that you review the script, which anything on GitHub, you always look at the scripts. Oh, okay. Hey, Jovel, nice to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. I'm just kind of going over my little CTF and I'm following up with people and background work. Okay, I see you. You're doing some background work. No problem. But thank you again for stopping by. Truly appreciate. And while you're here, just in case you ever drop by again, I'm going to give you the mod roll. If my computer will act correct. All right. There you go. Now you should have a different color. There you go. Okay. So the situation is anything on GitHub, if you're going to download any script or any code, you always want to be able to preview the code. Now, again, not everybody's a coder. You're not always going to understand code. Just because they say it's not malicious, it's always very good to double check or just find out if it's reputable, okay? And most of cybersecurity people, the tools that we like to share in open source community is usually pretty reputable. But again, we do get some people, oh, no problem, no problem, Jovel. But we do get people that end up putting, what is say, malicious code up sometimes. So that's why it's always good to double check. If we look over here, yeah, just to show you here, these are the directories and the files on the GitHub, okay? This is a repository. So if you see it says GitHub, this is DVWA. Here's some documentation. So usually they'll have documentation that you can read. See, docs add guides to use and debug on Docker. So it looks like that's how they're installing it, is with Docker. I would say for newcomers, the Vuln Hub's probably the easiest way to do it. And it's showing you the operating system, the privileges, see, execute as root user. And it's going to be, the operating system is a Debian-based system, so Kali, Ubuntu, Kubuntu. So again, it'll definitely work with the application that we're going to use. But again, you can host it yourself. And as you see here, see, you're going to do this one-liner. And this is how their code runs. So sudo, again, if you were, what to say, root user on your box, okay? If not, you're using regular user, you're going to put sudo bash. You're going to put this bash script in. It's going to give it the location where it's going to run silent, and it's going to get this get user content, and it's going to download to your machine. Then you download the script by this wget right here. And it's going to install this shell right here, make the script executable, and then you're going to change the mod permissions, kind of just like what we did in our CTF when we went chmod 777. Here you're changing the moderator positions of that file that you just downloaded so you can install it, okay? So you want to be able to give it access, root access, so you'll be able to install the file, especially if you're a local user. Here you'll do the sudo command, you'll install the script. And then they got some videos and stuff too, so they got it running on VirtualBox. You can use it running XAMPP. XAMPP. XAMPP is it's a way that you can host a website or WordPress or whatever from your local machine. There is another tool that you can use. It's called ngrok. And ngrok is, you got to remember, you're hosting it. Now, the thing is, it's out on the internet, but nobody has a way to access to your device. Now, I do not recommend this at all unless you know exactly what you're doing. If you want to host a website yourself, you can have your computer be the server. It's connecting out to the internet. Now, the thing is, there are very skilled people, not even just skilled people. There's kids, anybody. You're giving them access, and if you don't have a firewall or something in place, you can use this ngrok, which is a link. Now, I've used it for work to where I've got clients. I need them to look, let's say you're a web developer and you're creating a WordPress site, right? Now you got a client. Now you don't got it hosted up yet, hasn't been paid for, right? So the thing is, I'm creating it locally on my machine. I want them to be able to have access to be able to look at it, to tell me any changes or anything that they might need on the site. Because again, they're not hosting it yet. So therefore, I give them this ngrok link, which gives them permission to connect to my computer. And again, I don't share this with the whole world, just with that client. And I can also, with the ngrok, I can change the link each time. So therefore, to get a different, what is a session cookie. So therefore, I'm not giving it to a hacker. So I'm trying to say you don't want to give other people access to your computer ever unless you know specifically who they are and what they're doing. A lot of these scammers that you see on the internet and these videos, they'll use like AnyDesk connection, which is a remote access tool. Now, we use these types of tools in cybersecurity and even as network administrators, anybody that does any type of PC help desk. We do that so we can connect to our client's computer or maybe just our local devices on our network. However, somebody randomly that you don't know that's claiming to be tech support and you give them access to your device, you do understand they are physically you now sitting at that computer. And what they usually like to do is they'll go into the sysconfig commands, right? And then those system commands, what they can do is they can change your password and lock you out of your computer. And therefore, now they're going to hold you for ransomware. So they'll say, hey, you want your data back? Well, the only way you could get it back is you got to pay us money. Now, a lot of times, do they usually do that? That's usually the last resort. What they're trying to do is get you to open up your bank accounts and be able to do, like, see, on my Windows box, you know what? I might actually be able to show you here real quick. Yeah, well, before I do that, I'm getting sidetracked. I go down these rabbit holes. I do want to show you one little thing that what scammers kind of do so you kind of get an idea of what to look for and what not to fall for. But the last thing I want to show you is what my class is going to be on, okay? So we're going to do get.io, okay? Get.io. Okay, it's called GitHub Pages now. So let's type that in so you guys can actually understand what I'm talking about. GitHub Pages. Now, you can pay for domains if you want to have a custom domain like mentors.com instead of them giving it to you. So if you ever use like websites or free hosting like Wix or anything like that, they'll say wix.com, but then it'll be /mentors, right? Or whatever name I give it. Now, the thing is, if you want to have your own custom domain, then that's when you go out and you pay for it. So that is one of the downsides of the Get.io. But for what our purposes are going to be used for, we just want to make a portfolio or a blog and be able to share information. So if you see here, websites for you and your projects hosted directly from GitHub repository. Just add it, push, and your changes are live. But we go down through here. Ready to get started? Build your own site from scratch or generate one for your project. Now, what we're going to be coding in, Hugo, is, what to say, it's the static site generator. Now, we're going to be using Markdown language. Now, it's created in Go, and it's very fast and responsive. That's one nice thing about these static websites. They're very, very fast. They're very responsive. So if you see here, see, you get one site per GitHub account. So remember that too. If you have a GitHub, you can create one Git.io. Now, again, you can create other GitHub accounts, which if you want to do all that, I guess you can. And if it's okay with GitHub. Me personally, I have a GitHub and I share my repositories and I fork them off where I've got other repositories. Okay. So I got all these branches, but you can share all your projects you're working on, all the information that you're learning through my videos and through the courses that you're going to learn. And what's great is, like I said, employers can now look at this. So not only do you give them a resume, you can also give them a link, and now they can check and see your journey and what you've learned. It looks a lot better than what's on paper. You can type whatever you want on paper. The thing is, I want to see physically, can you do what you say you can do? And now if you got a YouTube channel, you've got, let's say, your GitHub repository, right? And you make some pages, you got your own little website, you can put your YouTube links in there too. So now they can see video of different things that you've covered, like I'm doing right now. And then you can also do write-ups like I've got right now, and you can post all this on your GitHub, which would be Hugo, which I'll show you in just a minute. But get one site per GitHub account and organization, an unlimited project site. So let's get started. So see, you can create a repository, and it's very easy. You're going to go over to GitHub, and you create a new public repository, and you're going to name it. Now, once you name it, you can't change it after that. So you get one name. So make sure, as you see here, this person put, what's this? Softshop at github.com. Mine would be mentors.github.io. Okay. Where the username is your username or organization name on GitHub. And then, like I said, you got public and private. Now, there is another one that they've got. This is GitHub, but there is another one that is more for personal work and stuff. Because one thing about GitHub, you got to remember everything's going to be public. So if you don't want information that other people are going to be able to access, don't put it on your GitHub repository. And this is another tool that we sometimes use in OSET to where you get developers and engineers or other people that put up their code. Well, sometimes, I don't know why they do this, but they'll embed passwords or give more information about an organization. And what I mean by that is by them writing their scripts, they're also letting us know what type of applications that they're running, possibly in their production network. That's recon. You understand, the more recon I get, it gives me more broad aspect on what type of attack vectors I can go after this corporation. So that's why we use LinkedIn. You got GitHub. You got that. My thing is just be smart and do not be sharing too much information. You can share your code. You can share your projects. But you got to think, if you're working for a company, be very vigilant on what you are sharing out to the public. Okay. What Git client are you using? So here we can also download. It's called GitHub Desktop. And again, I'll cover all this in my course and stuff. But let me just show you what Hugo looks like, so you can actually see what some of these websites look like. So Hugo. Now there's other static site generators. There's one called Jackal. The one we're going to be using is Hugo. Now here's some templates. I hate all these stupid sponsors. I ought to set my Kali up where I can block some of this stuff so I don't have to look at all of it. All right, so just to give you an idea, this is just going to show you some templates of Hugo. And Hugo is used in the real world. So again, any of these that we click on, we can actually view. So if you've ever used like, I don't know, any website, but even WordPress or whatever, you get little themes and all that. Now the thing is, we can use these themes. They're already pre-made. And again, once you understand how we do markdown language, and again, I'm going to show you, it's a really easy language. It's in plain English text, okay? So people learn Python. We're going to learn to do some coding. But Markdown is one of the easiest ways to start out. So we're going to do Markdown, and then we're going to get into Bash scripting, and then we'll get into definitely some Python programming and all that. And you got your HTML, your CSS. So if you look here, okay, like here's one. This one looks pretty cool. So let's look at this. Let's click on it. So this is called Daxi. Now we should be able to see a live version of this while it's running. Okay, let's see. Do they got it? So we can download it here. I like to see when they give us preview. It's under development, potentially unstable, use. Okay, Daxi releases. So you always want to read the documentation. See what we get here. Prerequisites. The following are basics for Daxi in your site. Tells us how to install it. Examples and usage. Documentation. See here we're getting it from this Daxi GitHub. So you can get clone here. I want to see one that's live. I know they got them where we can see it and live. But again, if you see here too, they got blogs. So let's say like this one, we want to do a blog. Let's look at the blogs. Okay, so these are different other theme blogs we've got here. As you see, you can add images, you can add your text, Here's one just with text, some images over here to the side. Let's see if we can find a cool one. Well, that one there looks pretty cool. The way this text is laid out and formatted. Again, it's mainly just formatting. Let's see. Here's one like a regular blog that we're used to. Let's look at Dream. See if they got a link where we can actually maybe see a live preview of it. This looks like it's in Japanese as well. There's an intro. It's a Hugo theme. Built it for my blog. The main features is a masonry layout post and flippable about page. Dream also. See, it'd be nice if they had some of these links. Go into your site folder. This is where our themes are, and I'll be covering all this. You know what? Let's look here. Do they got this posted where we could actually see it? Let's copy. Open link in a new tab. So they got some documentation here. You might actually be able to see the page. Base configurations. They got an about page, a search. It'd be nice to be able to see this live, though. It does support Google Analytics, so you will be able to use Google Analytics to be able to track. Before this is now it's deprecated in Hugo 0.12. Okay, so older version. Comment. All right. So let's skip this. I just want to show you some things, but let me just show you Hugo. So we'll go to the main site. You guys can kind of get a general idea. All right. So the world's fastest framework for building websites. So as you see here, the world's fastest framework for building websites. Hugo is one of the most popular open source static site generators. With its amazing speed and flexibility, Hugo makes its building websites fun again. They got a quick start guide here. What's modern about waiting for your site to build? Hugo is the fastest tool of its kind at over, right? 1 millisecond per page. The average site builds in less than a second. Flexibility rules. Hugo is a content strategist's dream. Hugo supports unlimited content types, taxonomies, menus, dynamic, API driven. Yeah, you can actually create APIs with it or attach your APIs to it. You got short code that can be used in. You got the built-in templates. Hugo has common patterns to get work done quickly. You got the polyglot baked in. HTML, not enough. Hugo allows you to output your content in multiple formats, including JSON and AMP, and we'll cover that as well when we're doing our course. And makes it easy to create your own. So here's some Linode. So these are some of the sponsors that can host and do all that. Now again, here they got some themes. So check out their Hugo themes. And we might be able to see some of these live now. There's a complete list. We're actually just looking at, we were just looking at these themes. I want to see some live. All right, let's try looking at a search. Let's type Hugo demo sites. Why are you being stupid? Just open up a website. Hugo demo sites. There's a quick demo. Now, some of these themes are paid for, and that's why I'm trying to show you guys all the free stuff. So here, let's see, this one, Get My Themes. This is for Hugo. They're showing you some new themes. Let's see what they're showing us here. Okay, so you got big screen, free Hugo agency website theme. What that kind of looks like. They got a premium theme, so you could actually, if you want to look at the demos. Let's see. This one here looks cool. This free Hugo business website theme. Well, let's look at a demo. I want to give you guys a live demo so you can kind of see what one of these websites looks like. All right, so this would be what the user would look at when they come to join the page. Okay, they got experience in the reality. We're looking at in a desktop view. You can also change it to a tablet view or a phone view. So if you want to see it on mobile, because this is cross-platform. So see, you can see what it would look like on a mobile phone. You can see here what it would look like on a tablet. So it gets a little bit broader. But this is a way you can test it too to see what the user would be experiencing. Again, you can make it across all platforms. So if somebody's on a desktop or whatever, they'll be able to, access your page, be able to navigate. So let's see if any of these buttons work. So we got Explore with us. So as you see up here, you're going to have your menu bar that's telling us about their services. You got a responsive design, a WordPress theme, media and advertisement, graphic design, networking, our skills. So then you can put graphics. There's your pictures, see our works. So you can look at different design. So it just depends on what you want to create the website for. You can create it for whatever you want. I'm just trying to show you how you can use it as a portfolio. Once you understand how to code and use Hugo, you can use it for whatever situation that you want. And another thing, if you actually wanted to do too, you get into like static site development. And if you want to set these up for your friends or other people, you could charge people for this. So again, it's a great skill to have. So I'm just showing you, we're using it for our benefits because I'm trying to do more cybersecurity. But again, if you think about you're learning new skills, yeah, you can monetize off these skills. So I'm not telling you what you can and can't do. I'm hoping that, hey, if you find any of this information beneficial, you can apply it and use it. So if we look here, let's see, we could go under, I don't know, let's see if we click a picture. The tag design. So it tells us about the picture or the image that you click on. So it's responsive. So that's cool. You can engage with the site. They got little numbers and stuff. So this is nice. And again, this is all free. Then you can put pictures of your team. So let's say right there's your social media accounts if you want to link. So like some of my Filipino karaoke friends, I've noticed that they got these teams. They could actually make a website of their team and put information and stuff and put their videos and a link. So therefore they can branch further out and they could have their social medias where people could actually connect to them. So follow them on Twitter, follow them on Facebook. And therefore it'll be, one team that comes to me is my friend Kay Mahalan. She's in Team Alpha. They can make a Team Alpha static website and it's hosted for free. And as long as somebody can maintain it and understand, which after watching my course, if they wanted to, could learn this very easily. And it's not a lot to maintain these sites. It's actually pretty, once you understand, we'll just say the markdown language and how it all works together, it'll be great. Now, again, these prices, this is just, like I said, a site that they're showing their services. Okay, so if we look here, we can also see they have a blog. Well, let's see. Let's say you wanted to create a blog. Yeah, right here. See, nice layout of a blog. And this is what I was going to say. What we could do when we're creating our sites. You could put here like, what do we learn today? So we'll say CTF walkthroughs, right? And in our blog, we could do Symphonos, right? Symphonos walkthrough. You have a nice little description about it and stuff. And then they see the little image here. Click on it. They can read a little bit more. Let's see if it responds. Right here, see? So, are you doing all right? And here, this is where we would put our walkthrough. So everything that you've seen in my cherry tree, the walkthrough that I did with the images, post it right over here. And we put it in a markdown, and we can export it out. And therefore, you got your whole walkthrough. And then at the bottom, again, you can put your social media accounts. So they can follow you on YouTube or they can follow you on Rumble. So this is what I want to be able to, my first class is going to be all about. And there's again, as you see, there's a reason why I'm doing this. One, so you could share your journey. After this class, we're going to go into networking. And this is going to be a full CCNA. It'll lead you to CCNA certification. All the labs, everything's going to be provided, okay? All the coursework, everything. You'll have me as a tutor, so therefore I'll be one-on-one. And we'll be able to do meetups, and that's why we have the Discord. So if anybody wants to join, come and hang out, maybe learn a couple new skills. It don't always have to just be tech. Then come and hang out with us. We're going to be doing some karaoke, some movie nights, and all that as well. And the link is listed in this video. So if you look down at the bottom, it'll say Discord invite. Just click that. Discord is easy to sign up for, and it's free to join. All right. And let's see. Oh, yeah, the last thing I wanted to show you guys. Let's minimize this down. We're going to come back up here on my Kali box. And for right now, before I close my Kali, I just want to make sure I saved my cherry tree. We're going to go File. Okay, we'll save and vacuum it. So we know it's saved. So next time I open my Kali, this will still be open if I do have to use this again. All right. So we're going to close that out. We're going to see if everything kind of works a little bit better here. So we got both our machines here. So Symphonos, we're just going to just showing everybody how we shut this down. So we can power. We're going to shut down our gas. Are you sure you want to shut down the gas operating system for Symphonos? Yes, we do. So we want to shut that down. Now, the thing is, we don't need to take a snapshot of that, okay? Now, sometimes you could take a snapshot, but let's say we come back over here. So we don't need that one now. We can close that. Now we're back on Kali, okay? Now, on Kali, there's two ways you can log out. Now, we're running in a virtual machine, but normally you would click here. Give it a second. We want to log out, okay? So we're going to log out, just like Windows. So we got to give it a second, manually shut down. Now notice we're just logging out of the device. Let's see if my graphics don't crash on it. Let's see. Okay, but then this is where you would log in, right? So with your credentials. Now what we want to do is, if you click up here again, I can shut down. Or on my virtual machine, I could also right click, right? And I could go power and shut it down. So we're just going to shut it down from here. Are you sure you want to shut down the computers? Yes. I just got to give it a second. To get out of a virtual machine, if you hit Control Alt, you see my mouse returns. If I click in it, I'm in the virtual machine. Okay? But if I hit Control Alt, now I'm back and I can navigate to my windows. If we come back up here, we're going to go to the workstation. We can go to our view mode. And I'm in full screen. We're going to come out of full screen. Okay? So now I can move it around. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm I'm just going to close it completely out. Have this open. Now you see my Windows screen. Now what I wanted to show you here is we hit right here. What we're going to do is we're going to search. And we're going to go CMD, which is our command prompt, and we're going to run this as administrator. This is what I wanted to show you what the hackers do on a Windows computer, okay? Linux, they're going to have a little bit harder issue. I'm not saying that they can't try to hack Linux, but they're going to have a harder issue. So if we look over here, this is what you guys probably have seen before. Now, remember, in Linux, we call it a terminal. Over here, this is called a command prompt, okay? Now, there's also PowerShell. We're just doing this. PowerShell is another way to access the System32, which would be the shell, the operating system of Windows, okay? When we're looking up our IP address on Linux, we type in ifconfig, right? Now here we can type ipconfig. Now the reason I'm not going to do that right now is, you know what? Actually, it'll be my local address, so it's no biggie. So look, we'll just go ipconfig. If you look here, this has my IP address. As you see here, 159.1. So, and again, this is my local network, okay? Now people say, oh no, don't be giving that out, you can get hacked. This is my local address, okay? So that's why I'm not concerned here. It's when I give my actual physical IP address, which is from my internet service provider. Okay, so we're going to clear that out, okay? But what we could do here is this enter. All right. This is what the scammers will do, okay? They're going to say you got hackers on your system, right? And then what they're going to say, they're going to do a remote connection, okay, through AnyDesk. Now they're going to be like this on your computer. They'll be able to move your mouse around and all this, right? Then they're going to probably say, oh, I want to show you that you have hackers on your system. And this is what they do. They're going to go this. It's called tree command. Now it's going to look like they're doing a scan on your computer. Now watch. All this is doing is going through the file structure of your operating system. Now, usually, once it gets done scanning, right, they're going to see here and say, hackers, hacker, well, let's say, to whatever, malicious hackers found on system, right? And a lot of times they're going to be like me, they can't spell. So, oh, look, ma'am, there's 2 malicious hackers that were found on your system by our security scan. Now they want you to connect to their secure portal that they always call it, their secure network. And what they're going to do is use Google Docs or something else. And again, they're going to have you click on a goofy link. And then they're going to try to tell you. Now, this is another thing that they'll do. I don't have it. You know what? Actually, I think they do got one here. If we open up, I want to get a new browser in Brave. Pull this over here. I'll show you guys something. Put this back. I'm on a roll today, so I don't want to, all these things are coming to my mind. But these are things I definitely want to be covering in my classes as well. All right, so if you come over here, you got fake online bank. Now, this is what a lot of these scammer bait videos do. Okay, see? Bank of America has this mobile banking simulator. Now, again, you could create one of these yourself. You could code one and all that stuff. But again, why reinvent the wheel when things are already out there? Now, some of these scammers you would think are smart enough to realize that they're, let's see, user node on simulator link, factor, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Okay, this is showing, okay, that's a phone. Did they got one that's not, that's for a phone. I know they got one too. Let's do this one. Bingo. Okay. Now, you would think they would be smart enough to realize that it's better to create your own because it is harder for them to kind of notice things. Because if you look up here, it says Bank of America online banking demo, right? Well, the thing is, you can create your virtual machines to where we could block certain things out and then we could host things. So again, we could copy and clone this site. We could host it ourselves on our local machine. And when they're there, they honestly think that we're going out to the internet and logging into our own actual bank. This is what a lot of the scammer bait videos do. If you notice here, it looks like an actual site, but all this is for it's a simulator, right, for online banking. So the online banking simulator is intended for demonstration purposes only. Now the thing is, on most pages, if we go here, we should be able to. Here, you can view the page source, and we can also inspect elements. Now, what we could do here is this is what the scammers do. Okay, we can change pieces on the site, right? Anything that I hover over. So let's say here, right? If it'll do it for me, it'll make me look stupid. Come on, hover over it. We can change this text, okay? And by over here, we can modify anything on this website, okay? Now you understand it's locally. We're not changing the physical website. We're just changing it locally. This is what the hackers do. They have you log into your actual physical bank account, and then they're going to change the HTML code. So let's say, I'm trying to see if I could see if it'll let me log in. Start after sign in. Okay, right here. So as you look here, this would look like an actual bank account, right? Now they don't evidently know the difference. But if you notice here, there's a checking and savings and CDs, and then I have credit cards. Now, as you see, these are populated amounts, okay? Now, the thing is, this is a simulator. This isn't a real bank account, but the scammers don't know that. Again, some of them get smart and stuff, but if you do it correctly, and they sit here and they click on this, right? Oh, ma'am, it looks like, oh, they're going, the way they do these scams, what they're going to tell you is you're going to get a refund. These are called refund scams. And they're going to tell you that you signed up for Norton or something else, and you're going to stop the security or whatever that they have, and you get like a $300 credit or something, right? And what they're going to do is they're going to tell you to go into the secure portal, which is the command prompt that we just saw, and they're going to tell you to type in an amount. 299.99. Well, you understand they're on your device. So after you type in 299.99, they're going to either add an extra zero and make it look like you just made an error or a mistake in typing it in. Now it's going to look like they're going to say they're going to transfer money to your account. The thing is, in these accounts right here, there's nothing that can be transferred. You can transfer money from account to an account, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to change the HTML on the page. So if you see right here, let's see. Yeah, let's say we're going into this account right here. See the balance right here. Or we could come back here again, which is showing me my balance of 2,322.56. We right click. Again, we come down here and we look at inspect the element. See this amount right here? Now watch what's going to happen on my page. Let me see if it'll let me click it. Okay. We know it's 2,322. So let's say if I change it, I want 22,356, right? Now watch what happens. This is what they usually do. They're going to be connected to, supposedly, you never log into your actual bank, but this is what they're doing to victims that happen. They're logged into their actual bank. They're going to change the HTML on the page because they're on your computer. Now, it's not your physical bank account. If you called your bank up, if you ever said, well, I'll just call my bank or I'll check with them. Oh, no, 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 no. They don't want you to do that because they know your bank is going to tell you there's no transactions being taken place. This is all smoke and mirrors. So now watch what happens. If I come back over to my page, but we'll close this out. Notice the amount changed. They black out your screen, then they're going to go and they're going to change. I should have put .00, right? So if we go back again, we right click and we come back down here and we go inspect. Let's go back up here. And we're going to go dot, whoops. So we'll say 22,000, right? 356. Put a comma. Probably help, right? 22,356 dot 00, right? We hit enter. Now, if we close this out on this side, now notice, we only had 2,000. Oh, no, ma'am. Oh, you put the wrong amount. We gave you too much credit. We gave you $20,000. Now they're going to want to say they want that money back. Now, the thing is, let's say 20,000 you don't even have, because if you look at our balances, we don't have $20,000. But let's say $500 or whatever, right? They're going to see here, and what they're wanting you to do is take physical money, actual money from your account and wire it to them. Now, again, they don't like doing wire transfer. So what do they usually try to get people to do? They want you to send it over in what type of money? Crypto. Or they're going to tell you to go get a gift card or something, all right? Which again, why would a bank need a gift card? It makes no sense. Or they're going to tell you to go to one of those little bank teller machines and take the money that you've got from your bank. They want you to withdraw money from your bank, go to one of those crypto machines. And this is called money laundering. Is they're going to want you to send it in crypto so it can't be tracked. But what they're going to do is they take that crypto and they go through their wallets. Now, the thing is, you can track crypto. Now, again, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but the United States and the FDA and the Federal Trade Commission and all them, yes, there are many ways, and there's people that are very skilled. If you watch some of the scammer videos of the scammer bait guys, some of these people are connected with law enforcement and all that, which is good because these people need to be in prison because you understand they're wiping out people's livelihoods and savings. So I'm just trying to show people to better educate yourself on these little tricks that they do. Is your screen's going to be blacked out. The reason they black out the screen on their end is going to black out your screen so you can't see what they're doing. See, if you saw them on the screen and you saw them right click, do what I just did, and go to inspect, and you see them changing this amount, you're going to know what's up. But what they do is they black out your screen, and then you're going to be whatever. Oh, it's just our secure server. Our secure server's updating. And then once they get done, their secure server to just update, they change the amount. Now, here's the kicker. Watch this. We're in this bank site, right? This is all you have to do. Now, again, the scammer don't want you to do this. Take over your mouse. A lot of times they don't touch your mouse. Don't touch your mouse. Because if you touch it, you're going to mess them up. But this is what you can do. Notice that 22,356? This is called cash. If we come up here, watch this refresh button. Watch what happens. Come back up again. What's going on? That's going to make me look like I'm a liar. Go back. Okay. So let's say we're going back to our account overview. If you refresh it right in the middle while they're doing something, right? You see what happened? It went back to the original amount. All you have to do is refresh the page. I'm using a simulator, but if it was your bank account or something, which I pray to God nobody does, refresh the page. Any changes that I make get refreshed in cache. It'll go back to its original settings. The scammers don't like this. This is how you can call them out. Well, that's kind of funny. I thought you said that you gave me $20,000. Why, when I refresh the page, did that $20,000 just disappear? Because they're scammers. And hopefully, this is a very educational and informative video if people watch that'll prevent you or your grandma or anybody else that might not be great with computers. This is how they do this. Do not fall for these scams. These people, and I'm not going to say they're not all from India. They're all not all from Ghana. But these scams, they're not technical. They try to act like, oh, they're severe, they're gonna hurt you, and they're hackers, and that they got skills. These people are lame. They have no skills whatsoever. And what I'm hopefully going to be able to do is through my courses and my classes that I'm going to be able to teach people, one, educate you on how computers work. So therefore, even if you don't want to get into cybersecurity, you're going to be able to understand how to better harden your privacy, okay? You're going to be way more informed and educated on exploits and the way people can take advantage. And again, if you want to get into offensive cybersecurity, like I do and other people do, we can hack back. We can go after these scammers and expose them for what they are. It's just their countries will not prosecute these people, especially if they're out of your jurisdiction, like U.S. jurisdiction. We do not have, it's hard for us to extradite these scammers back to us. And then also we have, you know, innocent to proven guilty takes a lot of resources, a lot of information. You got to get the police department, the FBI, the bank. There's a lot of different agencies we have to go through. And then our government has to reach out to their government, which is not going to happen. So that's what I'm trying to do. If we educate the end user at the end of the day, we're going to be able to stop this stuff once and for all. Now, again, they're going to come up with new scams. They're going to come up with new ideas. They're using AI. They're using all sorts of tools now. But at the end of the day and stuff, there are some of us that are ethical hackers to where we can at least slow them down. I'm not going to say we're going to be able to eradicate this overnight, but we can definitely slow them down. Jim Browning, if you guys go to check out on YouTube, I would say definitely check him out. Really great scam baiter. Now, what this guy does is he actually goes after the call centers. He will hack into their systems, look at their cameras, have them look at their own cells on their own cameras, take over their machines, take their databases, all their contact information, their bank accounts, all that, their social medias, and expose them to the world and hand it over to law enforcement of their countries. And hopefully these people get prosecuted. And he's had a couple of raids where the police officers of those countries did actually go raid these call centers. So I'm just trying to show you a couple other little things, which is great about cybersecurity. That um, there's a couple of other agencies and organizations. I'll share a little bit later and stuff. Probably not on this stream, but there are some other agencies and organizations that also help for missing and exploited children. So again, in the cyber field, there's a lot of great organizations that do great work, and they're always looking for assistance and need help. So anybody that's got skill sets, and again, hopefully I'll be able to teach you some of these OSINT skill sets. You can find, help find missing and exploited children, or maybe other just missing people. But again, very great organizations, and I'll share more information about this and OSINT and stuff when we get into these courses and stuff. But for that, we'll just say I really enjoyed my CTF today. I think anybody that stopped by, I think Jovel, since she was here earlier, she was doing some background stuff and probably some work around the house. And actually, I know it's early in the morning for a lot of my Filipino friends and stuff. It's like 9:30 in the morning for them. But I thank everybody that stopped by, and thank you for following the CTFs. Hopefully, you learned something educational, and I look forward to seeing you on the Discord. And I got some more videos that'll be coming out. I'm trying to come up with a schedule, so I'll be posting that on my YouTube. Right now, it's mostly been on the weekends. I'll try to do some stuff during the weekdays, but again, weekdays is a little bit kind of tough for me. But on the weekends, I'll definitely be creating content. So I look forward to seeing you guys again, and definitely check around, like I said, on a Friday, Saturday. Either I'm doing karaoke or I might be doing somebody's CTS, doing some little hacking things, kind of showing you guys cybersecurity. We don't want to keep saying hacking. People get scared off by that. But we'll just say cybersecurity and InfoSec. And again, hopefully beneficial information for all of you. And I thank all my friends out there and all my supporters and stuff. And like I said, if you get a chance, if you like the content, give me a thumbs up. Maybe leave a comment or something. And if people don't know, I do personally look at all my comments and I personally will respond back to them. My channel's not that big. So, yes, if you're going to take the time to give me a comment and give me some feedback, if there's something that you want to see or something that you like or want to know more about, definitely leave me a comment. Let me know. Again, the Discord's in the link. So if you guys want, definitely check out the Discord and I hope to see you there. Again, as always, keep smiling and have a good day and enjoy the journey. Hoorah! Simplify. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye. Y'all have a good one.